Hey, yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Phoenix Palace Podcast, aka P3. I am your host with the most, Black Phoenix, and welcome to episode 3 of the show. Just a couple of things to get us started real quick before we get into the nitty gritty of what we're going to be talking about today. If you haven't done so, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're listening to us via YouTube, every subscription matters, and like I said, just helps me grow this channel. The goal is to get at least 2,000 subscribers by the end of this year. So if you haven't done so, make sure to subscribe. Got more Madden content coming for you. Videos, podcasts, all that stuff. So make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so. If you're listening to this via my blog talk radio, appreciate you for coming by, listening in. Make sure to hit that follow button, and that'd be greatly appreciated. Also follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/TheBlackPhoenix. Like I said, all those links will be in the description somewhere below. And without further ado, let's get right into the episode here. We're just going to go right into the meat and potatoes. We're not going to be sweating any small stuff today. Obviously, the NBA playoffs are going on. And right now, I believe the Raptors took Game 3. Warriors and Thunder are tied up 1-1, I believe. So nothing too much really there, but I want to talk about the new developers blog here. Today's episode is going to be focusing on the ball carrier special moves, and we're going to be diving into what they all mean, and we're going to be talking about my opinions and how I feel about these things, as this is going to be the new mechanic that's going to be taking over the game of Madden 17, because obviously anywhere that you go in the game of Madden, you're going to have somebody that's going to be carrying the ball, whether it's the quarterback, receiver, running back, corner, middle linebackers, whatever the case may be. Somebody's going to be carrying the ball here. So we're going to be talking about that and how that's probably going to interact, or how that interacts with you, the gamer, and then how that impacts you, the gamer. So a couple of announcements before we jump into that. I know I keep pausing and delaying here. We are now on iTunes. Yes, we are actually on iTunes. So if you type in Phoenix Palace Podcast on iTunes, if you hit the little podcast tab, you can actually go in and actually see us live, or I should say not us, but me. You can see the show live, and you can get the latest episodes. You can download them. It's going to be free. There's no charge, obviously. You guys can listen to this while you're driving in the car, coming back from work, chilling, waiting for the kids, whatever the case may be, wherever you're doing, going to the gym, treadmilling, whatever the case may be. You can listen to this, download this, and like I said, keep up with this. And if you subscribe, like I said, you get every episode that's coming in. If the episodes don't show up, let me know. Like, hit me up on Twitter. If you see me on Twitch or something like that, say, hey, Phoenix, your episodes are not showing up on the Twitch or on your RSS feed on iTunes, and I'll get those. I'll try to fix that for you guys. So you guys have another avenue to listen. So once again, that's YouTube, that's my blog talk radio, and iTunes now. So the show is going to be kind of around those points to keep getting updates and stuff like that. And like I said, the more updates we get from Madden 17, or just stuff that I want to talk about, the more there's more to help. And like I said, the more support, the more 5-star reviews you guys give, the follows, the subscriptions on the YouTube channel, the more it encourages me to keep doing this show. So I appreciate you guys. For those that have watched and listened, I appreciate you guys. And if you haven't done so, like I said, make sure to follow, subscribe, all that stuff to what we're doing or what I'm doing here. But let's get into the nitty gritty here. Once again, we're talking about the new developers blog, ball carrier special moves. I know there was one about the defensive side of the ball, I believe the gap filling and stuff like that. We'll talk about that in episode 4. But for now, we're going to be talking about the ball carrier special moves, because it's kind of a doozy. One thing I want to say about this is that I actually do like, on paper at least, I haven't seen the gameplay yet, unfortunately, but on paper, I do like what the developers are trying to do. Give us the lengthy blog posts instead of the short, simple detail one, or the short, simple details that we've been getting in the past. Now this is kind of going into explanation. I mean, obviously, there's still going to be questions. Some things are still a little bit unclear. But as these blogs are getting released, the developers have been more than welcome and more than able to really expand on things. If you have questions or something like that, hit them up. Rex Dixon and Clint Oldenburg and other guys that work for EA or do the blogs and stuff like that. They've been more than willing to answer questions and stuff like that. So like, there's one section about flipping the plays. So, like, we'll talk about that on episode 4. Or just, anything about the ball carrier special, just hit them up. More like I said, more than anything, they should be able to answer your questions quickly. But I do like the details. It covers a lot of ground. It goes from kind of simple stuff to a little bit more advanced for the more advanced player. And then some of the stuff is very, very advanced. Like, if you really pay attention to what they say, there's some really, really over the top and advanced things that happen in the game that they're trying to implement. But we'll see. Like I said, it looks good on paper. Not too sure how this all is going to work out. Because like I said, there's a lot of more features coming this way, or hopefully sometime this week, if not next week. So we'll be getting into them. We'll keep reporting them. We'll keep talking about them, everything like that on the show. But anyways, let's get into it. Ball carrier special moves. So this year, it's all about the ratings, right? And obviously, in the past, it's all about the bending ratings too. But this year, they're making it a specific focus, or at least it seems like the direction they're going this year is all about ratings. The ratings actually matter. It doesn't seem. I haven't seen anything about animations. I haven't seen anything. It's all about what number do you have when it comes to this move or that move or X move, Y move, B move, Z move, all that stuff. So they're basically kind of ranked. They're from elite, so that's like your 90s range. So I think 90 to 99 is like your, or maybe 100 or whatever the case may be. That's going to be like your elite tier. So you have that, and then it goes all the way down to where it's called lumbering. So that's like if your offensive lineman decides to pick up the ball on a fumble recovery, and you try to juke with him. Like, obviously, that's not going to work. He doesn't have the ratings for it. A, and B, I don't see too many offensive line over here juking left and right and breaking defenders' ankles. So yeah. Also, too, what I like I said, I'm as my notes say that you got to watch the stamina on these moves. So you can't just do what you do in the past and simply just run your running back into the ground, and then when they're red circled and breathing or hands on their knees like they got asthma, don't expect your running back to perform the same move like he was if he was fresh or he's got a little bit of a breather here. That's not going to work. What ends up happening is, like, say, for instance, I have a Adrian Peterson, right? And, I've been kind of juking and jiving with him, spinning moves, stiff arming and all stuff. Let's say AP has like elite juke move, right? Let's say he has got like 90 because, why not for this particular example, right? If AP starts getting tired, right? Let's say I run him down to the ground and he's kind of red circling it. Like I said, hands on his knees, got asthma, looks like he got asthma, right? And I try to juke move with him again. Your tier of your juke move goes down. So now instead of him performing the 90s elite tier, now he's going to step down. And like I said, it keeps going down the more he's tired. So eventually, like I said, if he doesn't get subbed out at that point, I'm pretty sure Madden Logic would actually sub him out and stuff like that. But let's say, for instance, you don't have the subs out or whatever. Eventually, it's going to get down to that point where he's actually lumbering. And obviously, at that point, you pretty much just killed AP and he's going to fumble a lot. So just to keep in mind, watch your stamina. Like I said, the moves... Like, not everybody's going to have elites moves. Some people are going to be all in the 80s. Some people are going to be 90s here, 80s here, 70s here. So it all depends on the player itself and the rating associated with it. So just keep that in mind as you're going through these. And actually pay attention. Go through each player that you plan on using and seeing, okay, his juke move is elite tier. His spin move is lumbering. His stiff arm is average, So that way you know what to do in a certain situation. What's your best move when it comes to faking out defenders. And speaking of fake outs, that's the next thing that's in this blog is the new fake out system or fake out interaction system. So now we have 4 new. We have the ball carrier special move tiers, and now we kind of have these 4 unique tactics associated with them. So you have your standard, speed, precision, and then you have your steerable / utility. So when it comes to your standard one, all you're doing is just pressing the button. That's it. No left trigger, no right trigger, no L2, no R2. You're just pressing the button. So for instance, if you just want to do a regular spin, you press B. I would imagine that's a spin move. But I'm guessing stiff arm is probably A or X if you're on the PlayStation. Like I said, it's just standard moves. Now, with these 4 unique tactics, they also come with a level of risk, right? Some are high, some are low. Some can fake out multiple defenders. Some can fake out one defender. Some can't fake out jack squat. So you got to figure out which move works best in which situations. And we'll kind of break these down here. So once again, standard, you're just pressing a button here. It's kind of like the average risk. It's not high risk, it's not low risk. Have an average risk of fumbling, injury, things of that nature. And according to the blog, you can fake out as many as 2 defenders. So once again, that's 2. Count them up, 1, 2. With the speed tactic, now you're holding the right trigger or the acceleration button here, which is right trigger or R2 if you're on a PS4, and then you're hitting your button. So maybe you do right trigger and you juke with a stick or something like that, or right trigger and spin or something like that. Now with these speed tactics, they actually carry the lowest risk of stamina, fumble, injuries, and they only can fake out 1 defender. So this was interesting to me when I read this, because in my mind, I would think if you're speeding off and trying to juke into defenders and stuff like that, you would carry the highest risk. But I'm guessing it's more so like quick cuts, like super quick cuts for those speedy, shifty backs and stuff like that, Dree Archer, Darren Sproles type of backs that could just make one quick cut and just go. So that's interesting to me. The next one is precision. And with this one, you're going to hold the left trigger, or L2 if you're on PS4. And basically, these moves are kind of like longer, more deliberate, more exaggerated, stuff like that. Now, this one carries the highest risk of fumble, stamina, and injury and stuff like that. But, however, you can actually fake out multiple defenders. So it's not 1, it's not 2, it's multiple. So 3+ defenders with this precision juke. So that's kind of interesting to see that and how it goes. I don't really see too many people, even on Madden 16, really use the precision jukes too much, just because it really isn't as effective as it probably should be. I'll see a lot more people using the speed. I can see myself, or not even just myself, but a lot of people using more of the speed just because it just feels natural. So we'll see how that one goes with the precision jukes and things of that nature. But that high risk of fumbling or high risk of fumble stamina and stuff like that, I imagine it's going to be the same like it is in the previous Mads, where nobody's going to really use it. Maybe occasion here, but not, especially like I said, if you're a high risk of fumbling, you're not going to be able to use that. Also, we have the steerable / utility moves. So these are user input and user direction. These particular moves don't use the fake out interactions, but instead influence pursuit angles by the defender. So basically what that means is that, say, for instance, that you have you're running with Adrian Peterson, because he's going to be our running back example here. You're running with Adrian Peterson off a handoff, and here comes some average Joe Schmo defender, and he's got really terrible pursuit and stuff like that. So you utilize your utility moves or your steerable moves, and basically you time it right, and now the defender can't really touch AP. Or say, for instance, now let's take a flip side of that. You're going to go against AP is going to be going up against Von Miller or J.J. Watt or something like that. It's got like really, really high pursuit or something like that. Now it becomes it's now more of an occasional miss. Now this thing is not going to guarantee that they're going to miss every single time. That's not going to happen. But once again, it comes down to that rating. That if they have high pursuit, you may get them maybe once or twice every drive, but don't expect to fake them out, or you can steer around them like all the time. That's not going to happen. With the lower rated pursuit guys, probably more so than not, but the higher pursuit guys, maybe once every blue moon. So just be careful with that. Also, for those wondering about the risk, it is kind of like the base risk, something like the standard moves, just average all around here. Another one that I reckon that I have on my notes is that all moves are not steerable. So you can't steer a spin, you can't steer a juke, you cannot steer a back juke, and you can't steer trucking. So that makes sense overall. By logic, you're not going to be able to steer spins or jukes or the obvious back juke. You can't steer a back juke anywhere. That'd be kind of weird. But so those moves aren't steerable. Now, getting into the utility moves, I know some of y'all are like, what are those? What are those? But the utility moves are kind of like your celebrations and things of that nature. So celebration this year is kind of the same like it was last year. You're going to hold the left trigger, right trigger, and L2 or R2 on PS4, and just hit A or X if you're on PS4 and stuff like that. You can just celebrate like you did this past year in Madden 16. The ball carry give up one is a little bit different this year. last year you were able to double tap and just basically, like I said, go down to the ground. Mainly we'll see this with wide receivers, corners, anybody that wasn't in a running back, a quarterback, or a tight end. That's everybody else could do the ball carry, give up for the most part. This year, instead of double tapping X, you're now going to be doing left trigger plus right trigger and hitting the X button. If you're on PS4, that is L2, R2, and square. And you just have to hit it once. You don't have to double tap it or anything like that. And that's how you do the ball carry, give up motion. The quarterback slide is seeing a little bit of a change here as well. It's the same thing as the ball carry, give up. Instead of double tapping the X button or square button, now you're just going to have to single tap it. So hopefully that improves, because last year it was a bit unresponsive. It worked some of the time, and then other times you would still be running into the defender, getting into a tackle animation, and you always be like, you know what, I slid. So hopefully it's a little bit better responsive this time instead of what it's been in these past couple of Maddens. Also, the hurdle is not steerable too. I forgot to mention that earlier, but hurdling is not steerable at all. So if you think it's yourself, I could just steer a hurdle. No, that's not happening. Also, what the new thing is that they're trying to implement is something called tackle battles. Now, the way it's kind of been explained on Twitter and in this blog is that it's only happens when you get into like a stand-up tackle or standing tackle. What that means is, like, you know, say like you have Adrian Peterson, because we're going to be using AP here. Adrian Peterson runs smack down into a linebacker, and you know he's kind of, you know, obviously he stood up and stuff like that. So you're going to get a prompt here that's basically going to say press whatever button. Just press A, press B, press square, press triangle, or something like that. And basically, not only you as a ball carrier, but the defender can practice this too. Whoever hits the prompt first wins the tackle battle, and you know the play still continues. Now, it's not as simple. Now, when I read this initially, I thought I was like, okay, so every time a defender touches me, that means I gotta hit a button, and that determines whether I win or not. Like, that seems kind of broken, but it's not. So, according to the developers, namely Clint Oldenburg, that came up with this, he says there's a lot of other factors that kind of play into this one. It's more so like the ratings, obviously tackle ratings, strength ratings, pursuit ratings. You have the fact that multiple defenders coming in, and obviously more than one defender comes in, more unlikely you're going to be tackled as a ball carrier. And it's not necessarily going to be, as mentioned before, it's not going to be every time a defender touches you. He said most likely the bigger running backs are going to be the ones that are going to be getting into more tackle battles more than anything, because they're bigger, they're bulkier, and obviously they're hard to bring down. So the smaller backs, probably not so much, but the bigger backs, like, you know, expect to see a lot of prompts and stuff like that for tackle battles and everything like that. But that sounds interesting to me. Speaking of, let's go and just tag on something real quick on these this particular feature. Once again, it's one of those features that I think is okay. I kind of don't think it's necessary to put up a prompt to say, hey, press a button. Like, you really don't have that much time to really, in my mind, it doesn't seem like you really have that much time to really do that in the heat of a game. Once the play initiates and you're handing out the ball carrier, you only have like a couple of seconds to really juke and stuff like that. So I don't think these are really, I don't feel like this is really useful, but we'll see how this all plays out. Another thing that they're adding here, and like I said, ton of features that they're adding just for ball carrier vision alone. There's this projected path indicator. So basically what this is like when you get the ball, and this is going to be on like rookie and pro difficulty, but when you get the ball, there's actually going to be a projected path, or you'll see a light that'll tell you where to go, and basically what it does, it'll tell you obstacles in your path, and you yourself need to figure out, or sometimes the game will. We'll hit on that in a second. The ball carrier needs to basically find a way to avoid those objects and obviously gain yards and stuff like that. So it'll tell you, like, okay, get the ball, go here, you know, hit this lane, hit this hole. And like I said, it'll tell you, you know, obstacles are in your path, or it'll have some kind of indications that say, like, you know, maybe cut it to the outside or cut it back inside or something like that. Now, these are going to be on rookie and pro difficulty only. It's not going to be on the online mode, so you won't see this on all pro difficulty, which is the online mode or online difficulty for whatever reason, instead of all Madden. But This is it. I feel like you can toggle this on and off if you so choose. If your running skills are not that up to par and you really, really suck at running the ball, then you might want to put this on. But I don't think for the even the average player, I don't feel like they'll need this too much. I think you just have to use your eyes and use your judgment to really utilize that. So it's kind of one of those things. Once again, that it's nice. It seems cool, but am I going to really use this that much? Personally, no. I'm going to say no on that one. And then also we have the ball carrier special move settings, which is this is interesting to me. This is probably like the one that kind of raised the eyebrows the most out of everything. So basically what this is you can determine if you want the game to do this for you, run the ball for you, or kind of half and half. You go, the game tells you what move, or you could just do it all by yourself. You do it so good you don't need nobody else type of deal. So basically you have three modes. You have auto. Once again, like I said, the AI does everything for you. You sit back, you hand the ball off, and the AI just goes. It goes wherever it needs to go. It does the moves it's supposed to do, and then that's it. Assist, then that one is you'll move, but the AI will tell you what moves you should be using, and you won't have to use any of the modifiers, speed, standard, or precision, or steerable, or anything like that. The AI will actually do that for you. So all you have to do is just move to the right spot. The AI will do the rest of the work for you. And then you have manual. So basically, like I said, this is all you, no feedback. It's kind of the default setting for the All Pro, All Madden difficulty. So, and online games. So online games, it's literally all you. There's no type of change in it. I mean, I think if I read this correctly, I believe you can still toggle that. But I think for the most part, I feel as though the manual is the best way to go. So, like I said, especially if your user skill or your stick skill on the running game is up to par, then manual is where you want to go, because like I said, it's all you. It can be flexible however you want to do it, however you want to run the ball. That's all you. I think probably what people are going to most likely do if they can toggle this feature on is probably they're going to go either assist. I don't see too many people using auto because I feel like most likely what's going to end up happening is, depending on what defense you're in, the computer is going to make the wrong decision. You're going to end up losing yards. So maybe going with manual is probably the best bet here. Or maybe assist. If your run skills are really, 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 really bad, go assist. But I would honestly encourage people to go to practice mode and practice this once the game comes out, and just get a feel of how the run game is different this year and how the ball carrier stuff actually works out. But that is it for the ball carrier special moves and blog that I have. So overall feelings, right? I overall think that these definitely are game changers as far as running the ball, just any ball carrier, anything, special moves, precision moves, fake out interaction system, all that stuff. This is kind of game changing, because in the past, now I feel like you can't just hand the ball off and do every single double juke and just get to the end zone all the time, every time, or spin move, whatever the case may be. Now it's all ratings. It's not animation dependent like it used to be. It's all about the ratings. So, and to me, as a competitive player, having the ratings matter when it comes to ball carrier moves, fantastic. Love the idea. Again, as I mentioned in the last episode, very, very skeptical. We'll see how this goes. Can't wait to see actual live gameplay, either high level or even if it's just a lower level YouTuber thing that usually happens at the beginning of every year during the summer. Well, that's fine. As long as I get to see the game in action and see how this all works out. That's all I care about. But on the note, guys, I will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you guys for hearing this episode and listening to it. If you haven't done so, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and make sure to subscribe to the iTunes channel. Make sure to give this a 5-star review. Follow me on my blog, Talk.radio. Follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/TheBlackPhoenix. Follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/BlackPhoenix. All those are going to be in the description below, so make sure to check it out if you haven't done so. On that note, guys, I will see you guys in episode 4. 5 Gs, y'all. Peace.